I'm going to change the name on this first. I don't know why this isn't letting me record on the computer. I am the host, right? Okay. Mr. Abikunja is going to record. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Om Vishnubhad Paramhamsa Paripradakacharya Stotranista Shri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai, Anantapoti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prams Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Tham Ki Jai, Navadip Tham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Jamuna Mai Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol. Jai Maharaj. Welcome everyone to reading of Srimad Bhagavatam with His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami. Today is Friday, May 12th, 2023, and we are reading in the chapter 17, Victory of Hiranyaksha Victory of Hiranyaksha over all the directions of the universe. And tonight we start with text 26. As always, we look forward to your questions and comments. If you want to make a comment or ask a question, use the raise hand feature, or you can simply unmute yourself when Maharaj asks for questions. We ask that you not send any chat messages as Maharaj is reading something in the chat box. It just makes it more difficult to read. And at the end of class, I'll post some helpful links that you can share with your friends so that they can attend as well. And if anyone would like to lead the closing kirtan, send me a chat. Maharaj, we're so glad that you could join us. Where are you speaking today?
I'm outside Prague in Krishnov Druv, which is a farm here. Excellent. Hare Krishna farm.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you to Supriya, and thank you to all. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Savarsha Pugan Utato Mahabalas Sharan Mohormin Shvasanam Shvasaneritan Muhu or Vyabi Jagye Gadaya Vipavarim Asedi Vams Tata Purim Prachetasa. Let's see if we can do something for our visibility here. Give a moment, if you will. Okay, let's see how it goes. Moving about in the ocean for many, many years, the mighty Hiranyaksha smote the gigantic wind-tossed waves again and again with his iron mace and reached Vibhavari, the capital of Varuna. Purport: Varuna is supposed to be the predominating deity of the waters, and his capital, which is known as Vibhavari, is within the watery kingdom. Dropalabhya suralokapalakam yado gananam rishabham prachetasam smayan pralabdhum pranipatya nichavaj Jagada me de yadhiraja sangyugam. Vibhavari is the home of Varuna, the lord of the aquatic creatures and guardian of the lower regions of the universe, where the demons generally reside. There, Hiranyaksha fell at Varuna's feet like a low-born man, and to make fun of him, he said with a smile, "Give me battle, O Supreme Lord." Purport: the demoniac person always challenges others and tries to occupy others' property by force. Here, these symptoms are fully displayed by Hiranyaksha, who begged war from a person who had no desire to fight. The Om Jnana Timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Viditam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Putale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Datati Shapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jatapadakamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrashatam Sahagana Raganatan Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savatutam Pradijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lolita Sri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kamshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hori Priye Vanshako Patarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vashadi Gaur Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So these are demonic tendencies. The demons want to seize others' property. They want to bully others about. They want to take and seize for themselves and enjoy. In Ishopanishad it said, Magridha Kashasvid Tanam. One shouldn't take more than one's quota. But this is their business, to take more, and to try to enjoy in this way. And as mentioned here, and I mentioned it the other day, that Varuna is the lord of the yadas, the aquatic creatures, as mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, Varuna Yadasamaham. And of course, the Hiranyaksha is making fun of Varuna. He's mocking him. Give me battle, O Supreme Lord. Tvam lokapalo hipatir brihatshava viryapaho durvada viramaninam vijitya loke kila taichadanavan yad rajasu yena uraya jat prabho. You are the guardian of an entire sphere and a ruler of wide fame. having crushed the might of arrogant and conceited warriors, and having conquered all the Daityas and Danavas in the world, you once performed a Rajasuya sacrifice to the Lord. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Hiranyaksha speaks with opposite meaning because of the absence of demons before this time. It was possible for all persons to perform Rajasuya sacrifices. So in this way, he's again mocking Varuna. Saevam utsikta madena vidvisha tridham pralabdho bhagavan pampati rosham samuttam shamayan swayatiya vyavochad ango pashamam katavayam. Thus mocked by an enemy whose vanity knew no bounds, the worshipful Lord of the waters waxed angry, but by dint of his reason, he managed to curb the anger that had sprung up in him, and he replied, "O dear one, we have now desisted from warfare, having grown too old for combat." And Prabhupada comments, as we see, warmongering materialists always create fighting without reason. And again, this is the demonic mentality. Here in Europe, there's a lot of the presence of the Russian-Ukrainian war is more immediately felt. We find Russian people and Ukrainian people living here, Ukrainian devotees and Russian devotees. And so the presence of this conflict is more immediately felt. And naturally, the Ukrainian people feel that Russia has invaded Ukraine in the spirit of warmongering. Then there are others who say that in the background there are other countries active, and that they're essentially anti-Russian background needs to be taken into account. However one slices it, the leaders of the world have this tendency, especially the biggest countries have this tendency, the biggest, most powerful countries have this tendency to want to get more power, to want to get more and control more through war, through economic warfare, as it were, to gain control of the economy of a country, to gain control of its resources, either by economic means or by all-out war. Any questions or comments so far? Okay. Vishami Nanyam Purushat Puratanad Yasamyuge Tvam Ranamarga Kovinam Aradayishyat Yasurar Shapehitam Manasvino Yam Prinate Avadrisha. You are so skilled in war that I do not see anyone else but the most ancient person, Lord Vishnu, who can give satisfaction in battle to you. Therefore, O chief of the Asuras, approach him, whom even heroes like you mention with praise. Purport: aggressive materialistic warriors are actually punished by the Supreme Lord for their policy of unnecessarily disturbing world peace. Therefore, Varuna advised Hiranyaksha that the right course to satisfy his fighting spirit would be to seek to fight with Vishnu. Tam Viramara Dadipadya Vismaya Shayishyase Vira Shaye Swabhir Vrita Yastwad Vitanam Asatam Prashantaye Rupani Tate Sadanugrahechaya. Varuna continued, on reaching him, you will be rid of your pride at once and will lie down on the field of battle, surrounded by dogs for eternal sleep. It is in order to exterminate wicked fellows like you and to show his grace to the virtuous that he assumes his various incarnations like Varaha. Purport: Asuras do not know that their bodies consist of the 5 elements of material nature, and that when they fall asleep, they become objects of pastimes for dogs and vultures. Varuna advised Hiranyaksha to meet Vishnu in his boar incarnation, so that his hankering for aggressive war would be satisfied and his powerful body will be vanquished. Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purports of the 3rd canto, 17th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Victory of Hiranyaksha over all the directions of the universe. Any comments or questions here?
Maharaj,
Yes.
I like how Varuna Dev dealt with Hiranyaksha. At first, he sort of gets his guard down by responding very humbly, and then he trash talks him, telling him he's going to be surrounded by dogs after he dies on the field.
Yeah, thank you for that. A sort of mild opening followed by a strong reproach.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
It seems like Varun knew about Lord Vara is coming.
Well, if I look back at the verse, seems to me I reviewed that question, and that mention of Varaha's Prabhupada's purport within the translation. Let's take a look. Yeah, Rupani Date Sadanugrahechaya. He assumes Rupani Date, he assumes forms, and Viraha that's inserted by Prabhupada. Not explicitly mentioned by Varuna. Yes, Kendra.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, and your real voice.
So-called real. Anyway, I was thinking of this, the mentality here of Hiranyaksha, and he seems to be angry at just about everything. He's smashing the waves. He's looking for battle everywhere. He's ready to, anger Varuna Dev. he's just got this attitude, which is just it's non-specific anger. And I was thinking that's the difference between the sort of anger that, say, Srila Prabhupada may have displayed, which was very specific for a very specific purpose, very instructive, and then immediately given up and moving on to the next thing. It wasn't like an all-encompassing personality feature, whereas the demonic mentality seems to be born of unlimited antipathy towards reality itself.
Yeah, Kama Krodha Parayana in the 16th chapter. The demons are, Parayana means like seeking after or absorbed in. Kama Krodha Parayana. They're just, our modern idiom is into. They're into Kam and Krodha. They're obsessed with lust and anger. I remember from my school days, some of our schoolmates were like that. I remember a couple of boys down the street who were, it was interesting. They were just mean and destructive, it seemed to me, and just of this demonic nature. I later, many years later, learned from my mother that their father had invited my father to come over and watch some pornographic movies with him. My father declined the invitation. But it seems that this is the demonic nature, Kama Krodha Parayana, to be absorbed in lusty business and just, as you say, generically angry. Tulsi Priya says, spoiling for a fight is the colloquial expression. Yes, this is, and you see it. There are people, that's just what they're into, is they're ready to rumble. You're ready for a fight at any time because they've become contaminated by this demonic nature. Therefore, Daivasrevacha, there are two kinds of people: the divine and the demonic. The demonic are always after lusty. You find people that if they get some time, if they get some money, then it's for gambling, it's for meat eating, it's for illicit sex, it's for intoxication, it's for some kind of fighting. And the godly people, they're the opposite. Yeah. There's a comment from Murari. Is there any reason why Hiranyaksha went after Varuna rather than Indra, king of the Devas? The commentary by Vishwanath, says that Hiranyaksha was slapping the waves this way, just smashing the waves with his club. And in the distance, he saw a city. So he thought, let's go there. Let's see what it is. Mm. So in that way, he wound up at Vibhavari. Praveen says it's surprising that Hiranyaksha spared Varuna in spite of the thrash talk. The demons of today wouldn't have spared Varuna. That's somehow or other Varuna talked his way out of it, essentially. Talked his way out of it. All right, we won't even bother with a small fry like you. We'll go after Vishnu. Yes.
Maharaj, I was wondering, did Hiranyaksha observe like the etiquette of the Kshatriyas, that if somebody is unwilling to fight him, he's not going to kill him, even if he does talk impudently to him?
I can't say because it's not mentioned here. I don't know.
Thank you.
That is the etiquette, of course. And sometimes even bullies, they'll follow that etiquette, perhaps not out of a sense of nobility, but just because, he's a small fry. Let's go after somebody heavier. We hear that Banasura was frustrated. No one would fight with him. He had 1,000 arms and he was itching for a fight, and no one would fight with him. So he complained to Lord Shiva, who'd given him those 1,000 arms. No one will fight with me. And Shiva told him, don't worry, one day someone will come and he'll smash you. And then the foolish demon was very happy. Yes, I'll meet someone who'll smash me. Anything else? Okay. Chapter 18, the battle between Lord Boar and the demon Hiranyaksha. Maitreya vacha tadeva makarnya jale shapashitam mahamanastad viganaya durmita harer viditva gatimanganadad vasatalam nirvivishe tvaran vitaha. Maitreya continued, the proud and falsely glorious Daitya paid little heed to the words of Varuna. O dear Vidura, he learned from Narada the whereabouts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and hurriedly betook himself to the depths of the ocean. Purport: materialistic warmongers are not even afraid to fight with their mightiest enemy, the personality of Godhead. The demon was very encouraged to learn from Varuna that there was one fighter who could actually combat him, and he was very enthusiastic to search out the Supreme Personality of Godhead just to give him a fight, even though it was predicted by Varuna that by fighting with Vishnu, he would become prey for dogs, jackals, and vultures. Since demonic persons are less intelligent, they dare to fight with Vishnu, who is known as Ajita, or one who has never been conquered. Yes, the demons, they're ready to fight and fight. Even with the personality of Godhead, the materialistic scientists might be cited as standing among those who want to fight with the personality of Godhead. Yes, Kendra Prabhu.
When Prabhupada is saying in the purport here that even though it was predicted he would become prey for dogs, jackals, and vultures, it makes me think of another trait of the demoniac, that when angry, they'll do something very self-destructive, like punch a concrete wall or something like that. It will cause themselves tremendous difficulty and pain, but they just can't help themselves.
Yeah. This is the dark nature of the demons. They'll attack the innocent, they'll attack the powerful, they'll punch their wife, they'll punch a wall, as indiscriminately angry. Yes, this is the demonic nature. This is the demonic. We see this. We see this. Warmongering business. All right, anything else? Tadarsha tatra bijitam taradharam Praniyamanan venim agradangstraya Mushnantam akshna swarucho runashriya Chahasa chaho vanagocharo mriga. You saw there the all-powerful personality of Godhead in his boar incarnation, bearing the earth upwards on the ends of his tusks and robbing him of his splendor with his reddish eyes. The demon laughed. Oh, an amphibious beast. Purport. In a previous chapter, we've discussed the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Varaha, the boar. While Varaha, with his tusks, engaged in uplifting the submerged earth from the depths of the waters, this great demon, Hiranyaksha, met him and challenged him, calling him a beast. Demons cannot understand the incarnations of the Lord. They think that his incarnations as a fish or boar or tortoise are big beasts only. They misunderstand the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even in his human form, and they deride his descent. In the Chaitanya Sampradaya, there's sometimes a demonic misconception about the descent of Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu's body is spiritual, but demonic persons consider the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be material, just like ours. Avajananti mam murta. Persons who have no intelligence deride the transcendental form of the Lord as material. Avajananti mam murta. They think of Krishna as being a human being, or they think of Varahadev as being a beast. It's insulting to consider Krishna a man, to consider Varaha a beast. Whether he appears in a human form, or the form of a boar, or a fish, or a tortoise, he's always the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here, Vanagochara, he's called amphibious, because he lives in the forest, he lives in the water. Yes. What is that? He's everywhere. That's Krishna. All right. Good, there are comments here. Sukhayanti, I was wondering about the wives of such demonic personalities. Sometimes we see wives of demons object to their activities, like the wife of Ravana, or even see that some might even be devotional to the Lord. At the same time, it is said that a wife will follow the destination of the husband after death. Is this true also to wives who do not disagree with their husbands? Yes, we see this. Another example is Gantari, who, exceedingly faithful to her husband, objected to the persecution of the Pandavas and to Duryodhana's policies, his warmongering. And we know that Draupadi and Gantari are celebrated as being among the most chaste of women, still their names are remembered by women who are chaste or who aspire to be chaste. Will they follow their destination, the husband to their destination? That's what we usually read, that the wife achieves the destination of the husband. But of course, if the wife is Krishna conscious, she achieves a higher destination than her husband. We see that even in this life, the Yajna Patnis, wives of the Brahmins, were more exalted than their husbands. Rabin says, if it is appropriate to mention, could you mention the group which Prabhupada is referring to? I don't know what group Prabhupada is referring to. They're clearly some Sahajya group, but I don't know which one. Anything else, by the way, about this question of Sukhayantis? I didn't give a lot of, I don't think I shed a lot of light on the question. If anyone else has anything more to say. Okay, Tulsi Priya says, I like how Srila Prabhupada instructed Jadurani Mataji to paint Varahadev. Yes, Varaha is very beautiful. Generally, the boar picture is depicted as half human and half boar, but in Bhagavatam it is stated that full boar, you can make the first two legs as two hands and the rear legs and as legs, and make it as beautiful as possible. Kendra says, and Tulsi Priya says, we don't usually think of a boar as beautiful. Yes, that's the point. Boars are usually not so beautiful, but this boar, even what can we say? Dogs they're despised in Vedic culture, or most cultures of the world. Really, it's only in our modern culture that dogs are so adored. But the dog also can be made a little nice. But here, Varahadev is constitutionally beautiful. Kendra, regarding those who misunderstand the body of the Supreme Lord, on the Shringa Chaturdasi, I was trying to explain this particular appearance of the Lord to my mother, who then asked, how could you celebrate such a negative creature? Yeah, that the incarnations of the Lord are difficult to understand for those who are not enlightened in Krishna consciousness. The Krishna also, how can you worship a person who's such a debauchee, who's so who mixes with women so freely and performs such perverse pastimes? That was the British view of Krishna, that he's the Hindu Cupid, and that he's anyway a very mundane view of Krishna. So whether Krishna or Varaha or Nrsimha, without Krishna consciousness, one doesn't recognize Krishna. Avajananti mam mudha, or naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavrita. For those who are non-devotees, the Lord covers himself by the power of yogamaya, Udoyam nabijanati mamebhya panamavyam. They think of him as being an ordinary human being. Anything else? How could you celebrate such a negative creature? But he killed Hiranyakashipu. Look what he's doing. Why is he a negative creature? He's protecting Prahlad Maharaj. Why don't you look at that? Why don't you look at that? If the Americans intervened in World War II and helped overthrow the Nazis, then why do you glorify such a negative country as America? People glorify America, at least those who are inclined that yes, they helped save the world from this or that, from the Nazis. And so many examples can be given. We have all these terrorists and Unibombers and this and that. So if the police shoot them, then how can you glorify such a negative creature? No. To protect the innocent and to subdue those who are just indiscriminate warmongers is good. Even the ordinary person will recognize that curbing down warmongers and so on is a good thing, and protecting innocent people is a good thing. So why should they criticize Krishna? Rabin says, isn't it that even by the devotional service of the dependents, the superiors or elders are liberated? Yeah, that's another way of looking at the faithfulness of Gandhari or Mandodari, that their husbands benefited. It's not that these chaste wives were dragged down, but their husbands were elevated. Yes. And Panchatattva says, we are negative creatures. We're the negative ones, not Krishna. Yeah. Ahainam ehagya mahim vimunshano asokasam vishva srijayam arpita asvastiyasyasyanaya mamekshata suradhamang sadita sukarakrite. The demon addressed the Lord, O best of the demigods, dressed in the form of a boar, just hear me. This earth is entrusted to us, the inhabitants of the lower regions, and you cannot take it from my presence and not be hurt by me. Purport, Sridhar Swami, commenting on this verse, states that although the demon wanted to deride the personality of Godhead in the form of a boar, actually he worshipped the Lord in several words. For example, he addressed him as Vanagochara, which means one who is a resident of the forest. But another meaning of Vanagochara is one who lies on the water. Vishnu lies on the water, so the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be properly addressed in this way. The Lord is an amphibious beast. He resides in the forest in the form of Krishna. He resides in the water in the form of Lord Vishnu. So here, Saraswati Vak, the demon is deriding the Lord, but inadvertently praising him. The demon also addressed him as Mriga, indicating unintentionally that the Supreme Personality is sought after by great sages, saintly persons, and transcendentalists. He also addressed him as Agya. Sridhar Swami says that Gya means knowledge, and there's no knowledge unknown to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Indirectly, therefore, the demon said that Vishnu knows everything. The demon addressed him as Suratama. Sura means the demigods, and Atama means Lord of all there is. He is the Lord of the demigods, therefore he's the best of all the demigods. Or God. When the demon used the phrase, in my presence, the implied meaning was, in spite of my presence, you were completely able to take away the earth. Naswasti yasyasi. Unless you kindly take this earth from our custody, there can be no good fortune to us. Okay, any comments here? Okay. From Nasapatnair Apavaya Kim Prato Go Maya Hantya Suran Paroksha Jit Tam Yoga Maya Balamal Paporusham Samstapya Mudha from Rajay Surich Chuchaha. You rascal, you have been nourished by our enemies to kill us, and you've killed some demons by remaining invisible. Oh, fool, your power is only mystic. So today I shall enliven my kinsmen by killing you. Purport: the demon used the word abhavaya, which means for killing. Sridhar Swami comments that this killing means liberating, or in other words, killing the process of continued birth and death. The Lord kills the process of birth and death and keeps himself invisible. The activities of the Lord's internal potency are inconceivable, but by a slight exhibition of this potency, the Lord, by his grace, can deliver one from nescience. Sutra means miseries. The miseries of material existence can be extinguished by the Lord by his potential energy of internal yogamaya. In the Upanishads, it is stated, Parasya Shaktir Vividhaya Vishruyate. The Lord is invisible to the eyes of the common man, but his energies act in various ways. When demons are in adversity, they think that God is hiding himself and working by his mystic potency. They think that if they can find God, they can kill him just by seeing him. Hiranyaksha thought that way, and he challenged the Lord. You have done tremendous harm to our community, taking the part of the demigods, and you've killed our kinsmen in so many ways, always keeping yourself hidden Now I see you face to face, and I'm not going to let you go. I shall kill you and save my kinsmen from your mystic misdeeds. Not only are demons always anxious to kill God with words and philosophy, but they think that if one is materially powerful, he can kill God with materially fatal weapons. Demons like Kamsa, Ravana, and Hiranyakashipu thought themselves powerful enough to kill even God. Demons cannot understand that God, by his multifarious potencies, can work so wonderfully that he can be present everywhere and still remain in the eternal abode, Goloka Vrindavan. It's interesting, the demons, these are high caliber demons who have the privilege of being able to see God. And when they see him, they think, let's kill him. This is their mentality. We were talking about this sort of indiscriminate anger of the demons. If they see something nice, they want to destroy it. That's part of the typical demonic mentality. If there's a beautiful place and they can make it ugly, that's good. If there's something that they can destroy, that's good. Someone was telling me about, I think he was a devotee before he became Krishna conscious. He was hanging out with a gang, and they would be in their car, and at night, and if another car went by, they would flash their headlights. And if the car responded by flashing its headlights, then they would shoot the driver. This is just sport. Just sport. If someone's there, that person is for killing or abusing. That's the demonic mentality. So if we could see God, we'd kill him. The modern demons can't see him, but by words, they'd like to kill God. They sneer. This is typical, the self-appointed skeptics sneer at God. And they'll use all sorts of nasty words to try to abuse the devotees for their childish belief in some sort of supernatural childishly conceived controller of the universe. In this way, they'll insult God or insult the devotees of God, but they don't have the privilege of actually facing him. But they'll abuse him anyway. And how could he be if the universe is so unfair? How can there be God? And they'll seize upon different arguments to oppose God and sneer at the devotees. So this is the demonic nature. And of course, if they actually get the opportunity, then they think that let's kill him, even though it's impossible. Ajita, Krishna, can't be killed, can't be conquered. But still they'll think, I have a sword, I have an army, I have this, I have that. Let me kill him. And Kendra says, I think if Hiranyakashipu had heard Sridhar Swami's commentary, he would have become even more angry. Yes. From Panchatattva, can it be said? I guess I lost this comment. There were Panchatattva said, can it be said that these meanings of the demon's words, as explained by the Acharyas, further establish that Bhagavatam contains only glorification of the Supreme personality of Godhead. I don't know, but ultimately, of course, yes, it's all glorification. If someone is a demon, the blacker he is in his activities, the more glorious the Lord's conquest of the demon. So even if there's not always an indirect meaning or hidden meaning of the words of the demons, ultimately Krishna is glorified. The word, our English word foil, someone that acts as a foil for the hero, comes from the practice of displaying buttons on a background of some kind of foil, some kind of bright, shiny material that makes the buttons stand out. So these demons act as foils for the Lord by their nasty activities. They glorify the Lord. Varahadev becomes glorious by the activities of Hiranyaksha. Hiranyakashipu. Nrsingadev becomes glorious by killing Hiranyakashipu, Dalita Hiranyakashipu. The Lord becomes glorified both positively by his devotees and negatively by the demons whom he vanquishes. And of course, here the acharyas also take the opportunity to have the demons unintentionally glorify the Lord by their words. Praveen, we're out of time. Hold that question, and it's a good question. Bring it up on Monday, if you will. And Murari Gupta says sometimes the demons come face to face with Krishna through Sankirtan on the streets, and for no discernible reason, they just hate it. Yeah. There are those who are attracted and those who just hate it. So Sankirtan brings out everyone's acquired nature. All right, let's stop here and have Kirtan. We're at the end of our hour. And who will lead Kirtan tonight? Or this? Yes.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Bol.
Jai Om Vishnubhad Paraman Supri Prajapacharya Ashto Turasata Shri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Raj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai Namacharya Sridharidas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sakaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kunda Kiri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande Hari Bol. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Mahesh Pandit Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Akendra Prabhu. was just wondering about your voice, so it's nice that it's heard again.
Thank you,
Well,
Maharaj.
Thank you, Tulsi Priya. Hare Krishna.
And thank you to everyone for joining us tonight. Please share this class links with your friends, and we look forward to seeing you again on Monday for Srimad Bhagavatam class with His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His Holiness Jayadvaita Maharaj ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari.
Oh.
Hey, Hari.